If anybody knows of any like little magnetic camera holders, or phone holders, sorry, that work well, I could probably make one. Oh, I do not need another job. Because this is a two-head job. Alright, so cruising along in the C10 with Chev. Oh, hey buddy. It's very beautiful out here. So the current issues that are going on with the C10 are, well, there's a few. Alright, I'll just start running through it. First of all, the truck pulls a little bit to the left when I get on the brakes. You have to kind of stomp on them to get the feeling for it, which I won't do because I got Poochie in the car. But there's a slight pull to the left, and it just feels like there's a bit of movement everywhere in the suspension. I know that the bushings on the right side are well past their use by date. I've actually done all the bushings on the left side to, you know, make my dies and fittings and all that sort of stuff to press in the bushings, and I'm going to be filming the right side. Let's go down this way. Oh, you fart, buddy? No, you did, didn't you? Alright. That's one of the issues right there. So, this has limited slip diff in it. It's not an open spinner, but the clutch in it definitely isn't grabbing like it should. Because what happens is, it single spins, just, it's like a completely open diff. And then the other wheel just locks up hard. I would like it to be a bit more consistent. So that's one of the first things that needs to be done, the diff. I've also ordered the pressure power steering line for the power steering unit on this. Currently have 0 power steering. And with such a small wheel, big tires, and a heavy front end, it's an absolute pain in the touche to park this thing. On the road like this, absolutely fine. On the highway, fine. What else is going on what needs doing? I replaced the mechanical fuel pump that's on the side of the block. The old unit, I had already rebuilt it once, and the diaphragms in it were just shot. So it was getting some pretty poor fuel. I've since discovered that the reason, a whole lot of air was coming through with the fuel, and I've since discovered that I think it might have actually been the lift pump from the tank on the left side. This truck has 2 tanks, about 70 liters each, and I had just been running the left side for some reason, decided to switch over and use the right side, and was getting no air in the little clear fuel filter that goes between the fuel pump and the carby on this car, but I was getting pretty consistent air bubbles before that. So kind of changed both things at the same time. So I'm not sure if it was the mechanical pump change. It needed to be changed anyway, so glad I got in there. Or if it was the electric pump change that is in the tank. Both the electric pumps will need to be replaced because I don't know how old they are, and just fuel isn't something you want to mess with. But now it actually has a bit of pull to it. It definitely isn't a really fast car, but it boogies for a truck that is of this size. It feels great to drive this car, especially out on roads like this. There's just something about being amongst farming estates in an old truck like this, tootling around. There's no desire to really go fast. It is, a bit of pickup there is there when you need it. Not when you need it, when you want it. Oh, bub. And it's got a good little gurgle to it, but it is not a fangin' truck. We'll see how it goes when I start towing with this. One thing that I've noticed is that the fuel economy in this, see some cows? The fuel economy in this truck is absolutely shocking. It is shaped like a brick, so it's not winning any aerodynamic contests. And it has a 5.7 litre V8 in it, 350 small block. It has a Holley Performer 600 CFM carby on it. Sorry, not Holley, Edelbrock. Everything on this is Edelbrock. It's got Edelbrock valve covers on it, Edelbrock, I guess you call it the holder for the air intake. Edelbrock carb, Edelbrock intake. I don't know what intake it is. I'd like to put a high ram on it at some point, because I want this to be a torquey truck. But it gets going. And it stops pretty well for what it is too. If it wasn't for the fact that it pulls all around the place, you can just feel everything's moving. The bushings in the rear are shot. Everything on the right side's shot. It does have new shocks in the back, and it has a new shock on the front left. I haven't done the one on the right. It is very hickledy-pickledy in here. But I just, I rushed to get it on the road. The second it could stop, I put it on the road. The transmission in this car shifts great. It's fantastic for around here. It's a turbo 350, so it's a 3-speed automatic. But on the highway, it really does feel like it could use an extra gear. So I would like to change to something with 4 or more gears than 3, or an overdrive at some point. And I'll hold on to this transmission for something else, because the old turbo 350 is pretty bulletproof when a gear set has been chucked in. A lot of people have asked me what it's like to drive in a left hook car on the left side of the road. I've driven enough in the States and in other countries where you drive on this side of the car that it doesn't really faze me. It doesn't feel that alien. And you're high up enough in this car to be able to see around the cars in front of you when overtaking or doing right-hand turns. To be honest, I don't really do a lot of overtaking in this car. I'm usually one of the slower ones on the road in this. I just cruise. This is a great cruising truck. I have a great time just cruising in this truck. It's very, very enjoyable, just tootling around. Yeah, doing truck things in the truck feels great. And having a bench seat so I can ride along with Mama and my boy is... it's bloody lovely, mate. I hope you like it too. Moving on to one of the next things that needs to be addressed. I don't know if you can see on that camera angle, but the... well, I should straighten that up a little bit. But the gauges light up. I'm hoping that that's just a fuse. I do have a bunch of fuses to try out. But we will see if a fuse does fix that. The parking brake light comes on very randomly and never when I have the parking brake on. So something needs to be done there with either the sensor for the parking brake, or who knows what the issue is. The parking brake cable also needs to be tightened. It does hold, but you need to really stomp on it, and you need to I like to have it in park as well if I'm on a hill. It's in park anyway, and I know a lot of people don't even use the parking brake, they just chuck it in park. But I like the security of both. I need to chuck a mirror up there. As you know, I had a bit of rust in the front of this in the windscreen trough, and I cut out the rust, put in a new little panel, and I painted around there as well. Checked the whole windscreen gutter for any rust, and it was all good except for that corner. And now we have the new windscreen in, which I paid somebody to put that in. It's the only thing that I've outsourced on this truck. The only thing I've outsourced in the way of mechanics for a long time, actually. But a couple of blokes came around and chucked it in, and I will definitely be doing it myself in the future, because I think I could have done a better job. And it just wasn't worth the amount of money that they charged to put it in. They didn't use any special adhesives that I don't have, or any special equipment that I don't have. It was just hot soapy water and patience, which they didn't have because they kept on swearing and cursing about the whole thing. Gruff Australian tradies that should get different jobs with the amount of complaining that they do about their jobs. Do something you love. Visibility in this truck is amazing because I'm just surrounded by glass. And I'm quite high up in the car too. The bench seat underneath me is falling apart underneath the driver's butt. I doubt I'll be doing anything to address that anytime soon. I might stitch a piece of leather over this section so it's a little bit more durable, but I'm in no rush to be really comfy. You might hear that too. There's a bit of a squeak with the brakes at the moment. Comfy there, buddy. Like just there, one of the rear wheels kicked out for a little bit, and then the other one kicks in, and it, especially when the rear end is as sloppy as it is now, it just, you're constantly steering to adjust for the amount of sort of, it's not twist in the chassis, but it's unevenness, and it's just unsettling. There's quite a bit of play in the steering system. I would love to change it over to a rack and pinion setup at some point. It's just a better steering setup, but we'll see what, I don't know if there's sort of like a set kit for making that switch on these trucks, but we'll also see what kind of space is available when I go to the airbag system. C10s just look sick on the ground. And also it'd be really handy to have height adjustment when I'm pulling bikes into the rear of this, or putting anything in the rear of this really. The exhaust hangers still need to be done. Still looks like there's a bent coat hanger holding up the exhaust on both sides, and potentially some like cut strips of tire. I'm not sure, it's all a bit ghetto underneath there, but it's up, it's not going anywhere, it's just very rickety. I do like the note that this car has. Sounds good at an idle and good just sort of rumbling around, but is not over the top, I don't think, and is not going to overly annoy the neighbors, I hope. When I pull in late at night, I'm always a bit careful to switch it off a couple of houses away and then roll into the place as well. But still, I like to keep the people around me happy. What else is going on with this truck? Needs new tires, definitely. These ones are, I think they're from 05, so they're definitely pretty shot. Now I'm guessing that it's probably getting a little bit too dark to be filming in here anymore, so I'm gonna wrap up the rest of my little talk about this truck back in the shop. Alright, it's been nice taking you for a little cruise. It's beautiful out here, great cruising roads. But yeah, I'll see you back in the shop. Alright, back at the shop, and the C10 is airborne. Here, I'll zoom in a bit. This homie is not seated properly. Yeah, if you don't remember, I'm really bad at guessing imperial sizes. 3/4. Oh, look at that. Make sure the other guy's tight while I'm in the vicinity. Oh, there goes my crate. Oh, and my stomach on the fender. Okay, that's the first little thing that's been bugging me fixed. So, just doing a little bit of a test here to see if there's a play Ooh, we are getting movement there. That feels a whole lot like wheel bearing. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but you can almost certainly hear it. There it's playing there. Right, let's see if this wheel bearing is doing as well. Yeah. Again, there is a bit of movement in there. This one, 90% sure it's just the wheel bearing. Alright, might be wheel bearings all around. One of the other issues that we've got with this car, that's the diff, not doing diff things. It is a limited slip 12 bolt rear end in this, and it operates almost like a completely open diff sometimes, and it just locks up and then is like a welded diff. But I've just chucked the car in neutral and got the handbrake off, sorry, the parking brake, and if I just rotate this around, now locked. Another little job I'm going to tackle while I've got the car here up in the air is the parking brake cable. So, where is it? There it is. Okay, so this, let's get this light up here. This right here is what gets pulled on when you press on the parking brake pedal, and it then goes off and back to the rear right caliper and the left on this side. I thought I had this tightened up enough, but no bueno. So this is in the relaxed position at the moment. I'm going to give this a tighten and see if it grabs a bit better. It will stop the car at the moment, but I definitely wouldn't rely on just that on a hill. If anybody knows of any like little magnetic camera holders, or phone holders, sorry, that work well, I could probably make one. Oh, I do not need another job, because this is a two-handed job. This is a two-handed job, so I can't really film while I'm doing this, but I've got adjustable spanner on the back there on a couple of flats, and I'm going to tighten up with the ratcheting spanner on the front. Hey mate, we want to make sure that the rear wheels still spin freely when the parking brake isn't engaged. So flick that over, chuck that into neutral, parking brake is released, and still doing its weird diff stuff. God, that sounds horrible. But not being engaged by the parking brake at all. Let's give this a stomp. Oh, definitely feels like it has more tension on it. We'll see how that goes. Don't want to overdo it and wear out the drums in the rear. So we'll just see if that holds once I chuck it on the ground and park it on the hill. But yeah, until next time, be safe, have fun, and take it easy. Catch ya. Say goodbye to everyone. Kisses. Kisses. Oh, good boy, good boy.